Hi, I'm Liron Cohen.
And I'm Mimi Torchin.
And you're listening to Lady Parts TV, the podcast.
Whee!
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Laurent. Hi, Mimi.
Hi, Rachel.
Thank you for joining us for your own very personal Talking Teal podcast.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Are you happy with your choice of doing it after episode 7?
I think I chose well.
Oh, indeed you did. Woo!
Tell us what's on your mind.
Oh my goodness, there's so much. I'm at a loss of where even to start. This was one of those that you could literally, it was like 12 different gears spinning each other.
This is why I have to work for about 3 to 4 hours on Talking Teal every week, because it's just, where do you start and how do you put it all together?
Yep.
It's very dense.
Well, as Joan of Arc says in The Lark, let's start at the beginning. It's always a very good place to start.
Wasn't that Julie
That's
Andrews?
also Julie Andrews,
That's
yes.
Julie Andrews. Yeah.
That's also, I guess that's why it makes sense.
Well, I think, you could start from the beginning or you could start
from the end.
Yeah, we could. I think that might make more sense.
Yes. I think you nailed quite a bit of the theory that you had there. Were you relying on spoilers, or was that purely your figuring
instinct?
No, it was my instinct, just because I knew Sonia's storyline didn't have much further it couldn't go many places.
But you were the one who said that she was going to try to get married to unseat Kaz, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, I was pretty confident that she would try to enlist whatever help she could.
Of course.
And the only people left that she could get help from were Boomer and Mari, because nobody else really wants much to do with her.
Well, yeah, not anybody who knows her.
But not even the audience anymore, which is why I guess they had to kill her.
Right.
Well, go ahead.
Well, it made perfect sense, because Sonia would view Mari as somebody who was almost at her level.
Mm-hmm. Almost. Being the operative word with Sonia. Her arrogance is only to be topped by her tininess.
Exactly. And I have to admit, I adore Sigrid Thornton.
Yes.
I adore her. I have for many, many, many years. Ever since Man from Snowy River. Which,
I may have to go back and see that. Was that the series or the movie?
No, it was a movie, and she was very young in that. I believe it was 81 or 82 that movie came out, and she held her own with Kirk Douglas.
Okay.
That's he wasn't her love interest, but
I hope not.
He actually plays 2 people in that movie, which is interesting. But anyway,
I'll check it out.
She was the leading lady in that movie, and she was very young, and she obviously was just as tiny then as she is now. And but was very powerful on screen.
And she's a powerhouse actress. She's mighty in every way. I can't imagine her playing a shrinking violet, but she is an actress, so she probably can.
But she has this presence that is
it's undeniable.
Yes, and she's a beautiful woman.
Yes.
And she is a pleasure to watch, and she made the most of that part. We all know from the time Sonia first appeared, she did not get a lot of screen time.
No, but what she got, she made great use of.
Well, you know what the thing about Sonia is, which I'm just thinking about, is that she really, there's so much you can do with her, because she really doesn't have, or at least she doesn't show to have, true emotion. So how much of an arc can you have with her when you can't really have, she can't really have her own story?
When there's no feeling.
Yeah, there's no range
there,
of emotion.
She's just a total sociopath, psychopath.
Yeah.
And how many people can you knock off before you either get caught, you're in a confined space.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually that has to catch up to you one way or the other. And I think they chose the right time to do it, as much as they hate to lose her.
Absolutely.
And what I loved is that they spent the entire episode trying and eventually succeeding in different ways to charge her, to get her on, from the CCTV to the wire. They finally get her, only for then to have her killed.
That's fine. Then they don't have to deal with it.
No, it's great. It's brilliant because you spend the entire episode going through all this, will they get her, will they not get her? And then in the end she dies anyway.
Well, and it's the ending we want for her. It's you feel like that was actual justice.
Yes, absolutely. I have to say that the minute I saw her on that roof, I said to Liron, she's going over. Yep, she's going over. That's how Sonia's going, right over the edge of that roof.
All I could think about when she grabbed that wrench was the game Clue. I kept thinking it was Sonia on the roof with the wrench.
With a wrench, exactly.
So kudos to you for really seeing a lot of what ended up happening.
Yep.
Well, I missed out on some. The stuff with Will and Maury I never saw coming. That's
right?
Yeah.
That was very much a surprise. I mean, I saw them. I saw her. I knew in advance that she was definitely going to try to get to him with her little, pretend, I'm so in need and stuff. But I did not see the boiler room happening.
Well, she knows that Kaz uses him to good effect, and so I think that she wanted to take that power away from her and have it herself,
and make her jealous, because I think she definitely saw that there was feeling there, and so she wanted to just get right in there and grab him from her.
Well, just as a little side note, this is one of those weird things that I look out for. When Mari is reading the book and Sonia approaches her about helping her, the name of the book was The Whip Hand.
The Whip Hand, right.
And it's an actual novel, and it's about a jockey who
it's a Dick Francis book, right?
Right.
Yep, I thought that was what it was. I didn't know if it was just called Whip Hand or The Whip Hand, but I said, I wonder if that's the Dick Francis book. I used to read them all the time.
And the whip hand, the definition of the whip hand is an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So, the little things that get planned.
Oh, yeah, they think about everything. They would never have her read a book without a meaning, because what's the point?
Right.
You have another opportunity to give your audience a clue or to, put a hidden message in there. Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. But I'm worried now that Rita is not Rita, excuse me, that Mari is going to try to twist Will even further.
Oh, I think so. She's going to use drugs.
Of course
she's going to get him hooked, I think.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm terrified about is now Allie is at the doorway of starting to use again.
You think? Why do you think that?
Because when she talks about how much pain she's in, she asks,
can I get some pain meds? Right.
And believe me, I worked in a bakery a million years ago, and I had an accident where I burned my palm pretty severely. And there is no pain in the world like that.
Like hand pain, huh? Oh.
Well,
like
it's a burn like that.
It's like a third degree burn.
It doesn't ever stop hurting, ever.
Well, you must have a lot of nerve endings in your hand.
You do. And so I'm worried that presents an opportunity.
Well, I hope that they, this time, give Ellie strength and support enough to not go there, because we've seen that before. And I would be much more interested in seeing her actually managing to be. I mean, it's definitely a temptation, but to see it and to manage to get all of her strength and every possible, whether it's the spirit of Bee or the support of Ruby, because Ruby has been really nice with her lately.
Right.
To get to not go there.
But I'm also convinced that Mari is at a tipping point. She is going from the recreational drug user to a junkie.
Well, I think somebody wrote me an email at some point and said, nobody, that kind of drug, it's not marijuana. You can't really use it recreationally.
Yeah, but she's snorting it. She's not mainlining it.
Yeah, but since her son's death, I think that, again, she uses everything she has, but the seed, the basics of it is rooted in truth. And I think that since her son's death, she really has been having a really hard time coping. Well, and she's been using more.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I think
there were multiple references to her having the shakes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Her snapping, and she goes to Costa for drugs.
Right, which is like, really?
And it's bad drugs.
Like, that's really stupid.
And you
love.
know how much she needs it if she went to Costa.
Yeah.
Because she
Right.
knows what kind of shit Costa deals.
But that could also be her weakness and something that other people can take advantage of in order to, take her down a notch.
Oh, I agree. And it's good that they're giving her a chink in the armor.
Yeah, you got to. You've got to have. You just got to have that. Otherwise, it gets boring. That's like what happened with the freak. They hung her and they couldn't kill her.
I was going to say,
Right.
Speaking of the freak.
Uh-huh.
So, we were all wondering if she was going to come back. And then, of course, we saw the ghost haunting Will. But now there are two things that are happening. First of all, there's that insane preview for next week.
With the footprints.
Yes.
And then there's the following episode, which is apparently going to be called Shallow Grave.
Well, go figure.
But are we supposed to think that it's Ferguson who's coming back for Vera? Because that preview took me completely out of left field. It was like, what? What's going
Here's
on?
my
here?
take on that. Number one, the previews are always misleading.
Right.
Yes, that's true.
Number two is the dead giveaway to me. I don't care what happened to the freak. If she managed to get out of that grave, dirty is the last thing she would ever be.
That's what it just told me, that the muddy footprints, that's supposed to be because she just came out of the grave, but she would have done that months
absolutely.
ago.
Absolutely.
That's all going to be Jake.
You think? But why would he be...
Because he wants to scare Vera back into his arms.
Okay.
Really?
I didn't think about that. I kept on thinking, why would Jake be doing
It was
that?
Jake who brought up her pips missing.
Yes, that's true. Because I've already seen, theories about
So
about that being, again, the ghost of Ferguson, that she's making paranormal things happen.
Yeah, she hadn't even noticed. And she's the one on the staff who doesn't know that Joan's dead.
That's right.
Oh.
That's right. That's a very, very good point.
Very interesting point.
And so I do think that eventually that will confess to Vera, as much as I didn't think it was going to happen. It will. It will happen to keep Vera from losing her mind.
Yeah. Gee, Rachel, you're so smart.
Yeah. So I guess Jake took the pips.
That's what my would be.
Well, it's so funny because that preview just completely, it really just kind of surprised me because from going to, usually the preview shows several storylines or, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And to go from Sonia dying and, Liz and all that to all of a sudden an episode that's all about Vera being stalked or haunted or whatever. It's like seeing her run around. It was like all of a sudden this little encapsulated horror movie and Vera was the star.
I think we're also going to find out Vera's still pregnant next week.
Yes, I think so too.
We've been thinking that.
I think everybody's been thinking that. Now let me ask you a question. Did
Sure.
you figure out immediately as I did that Liz was wearing a wire?
I thought she had a phone in her pocket. I knew she was recording it. The whole wearing the wire thing. I knew it was being recorded.
Yeah, me too. I'm just surprised that Sonia wasn't more aware of what might have been happening. But she's so arrogant.
Yeah, hubris will take down, and she, especially towards Liz, she really thought of her as a nothing and a nobody. So
well, and then nobody would listen to anything Liz had to say, so it didn't matter what she said to her.
Right. Well, exactly, unless someone was listening in,
which they
Right.
did.
Right. Which I loved, and for the first time ever, the CCTV worked to catch somebody.
I know.
Isn't that we said the same thing. Well, thank goodness the camera was working.
And it's probably because Sonia's just too short to reach it.
Not with a broom.
Not that one. That was pretty high up. So, last week when Vera started looking,
we said, okay.
I thought it's going to be really funny if it turns out they catch her on the camera.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering if Boomer at this point, if she'll just now use this opportunity to really, make something out of herself, or if similar to Will, now she'll be haunted by this thought that because she said, I was supposed to protect her. This is my fault. Mm-hmm. And this is just when she was punched in the eye. So now, speaking of which, I don't understand, and that to me is the biggest, fudging over. Why would Spike only punch her in the face once and let her be?
I agree with that 1,000%. I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But I think it was a one-hit thing, and maybe she just wanted to get away with it. I don't know.
I would have liked to have seen, like, maybe Will stepping in or Smile stepping in or something.
She should have tried to beat her to a pulp.
And then she could have said, "Oh, I'll catch you later. You know, you're going to get yours."
Yeah.
Just so that I know, because otherwise it's like just enough to get a concussion and send her into medical, but just but doesn't make sense.
Otherwise, the other side is they could have made it a more savage beating.
That's what I said.
Yes.
Like, she could have beaten her to a pulp.
Right.
But she had to get up to that roof for that death.
Right.
Right.
So I would have liked to have seen her after that punch. Somebody comes in, steps in, and separates them, and then she just like, I'll catch you later. Don't watch your back or something.
Well, I agree, but that scene cut off pretty quickly, and I think they were probably running really short on time. They probably had filmed something similar to that.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, I guess, it's something that we can assume and not completely be like, oh, it's not realistic. But what do you think about Boomer? Do you think that she's going to thrive now, or that she's going to be haunted by this death?
That's going to be interesting to see. Whether she's going to be really angry with Kaz, who...
Right.
It benefits Kaz to step up and take responsibility for this, because now the women know she's willing to kill somebody.
Right. Mm-hmm. Not to mess with her. That's why that's why I thought when Liz took the blame that she so, confidently said, no, I did this. Though she only said that to Will, and it still can be that Will will, defend them and that they will tell a lie or something.
I mean, the wrench was beside Sonia. I think she complains
self-defense.
Self-defense will be an easy...
and Will can even say that he saw it.
Yeah.
But as far as Boomer goes, Boomer seems to be under the impression that Liz is making up all this stuff.
You think so still?
Well, now that would be the question after this is over. Once she actually realizes that Liz is really ill, mm-hmm. and that this is not some sort of game she's playing,
mm-hmm. she might have some compassion for her.
Right. I mean, their connection is a bit too deep to throw out the window.
Well, and especially now that she knows that also she has a sort of a brain problem that she's not in control over, then she can appreciate it in somebody else. But
she can excuse her a little bit more for everything. And she was also, as far as Sonia's concerned, she was pretty mad at Sonia.
Not in the end. In the end, she took
betrayed her. Yes, but still.
And Sonia just kept dumping her and walking off when she thought the DPP had called to let her go.
Bye. Bye. Nice knowing you.
And then when she says, "Do you want me to go with you?" when she's going up to the roof, she's like, "Nope. I got this."
But I still think that maybe Liz has been misdiagnosed and that it will turn out to be something else.
I've thought it was a brain tumor from the beginning. I think they're going to make us think it's dementia for a while, but I think eventually, hopefully, they will find out after the fact. There'll be something else that happens that makes them do a scan or something.
And
then will they be able to operate on her?
But this is exactly what I was going to say, because he said all your symptoms show, that it's fit with the diagnosis of dementia, and I thought, well, at this point, you should take her to some sort of a scan. To confirm.
Right, but under those circumstances, I can tell you from working in that business that first diagnosis is what they're going with.
No, I understand, but to me, this is why it's still not reliable, because they haven't seen it on a scan. They're just saying, well, the symptoms fit. Well, yes, but symptoms oftentimes mimic certain things and end up not being that.
The symptoms are so dead on for early onset Alzheimer's, though.
Well, it can be something similar.
She's just not having headaches. My friend who had a brain tumor, hers manifested itself where it was located in constant nausea and throwing up.
It can be many things,
but she doesn't. She pretty much just seems to be having, cognitive problems.
Well, I still, though, from a dramatic standpoint, from the way that they worded it, that the doctor said it, I still am not convinced that it will, because also really, then it will lead to a horrible, horrible story. And we know that she's in season 7, so that means that it will have to drag on through the entire season and a half, and we'll see her decline, and it will just be awful.
Right. And there's very little upside potential there.
Yeah, there's no upside to it. Although I'm surprised that they didn't put her on some kind of medication immediately.
Well, not everything can be.
Yes, but there are medications to slow it down.
Yeah, and I mean, her performance is amazing. And the chemistry between her and Tammy McIntosh.
I know, because they both have so much heart.
It is beautiful. Well, and they I know worked together on other projects over the years, and
All Saints and
they honestly care for each other, and that comes through.
Celia is just a master.
She is
just, and it's so subtle, and it's so nuanced, and it's just, I mean, and just when you think she's, just a poor, sad thing, all of a sudden she'll just rise to the occasion. And just it's so exciting.
Just seeing her smirking when she was outside the medical and looking at Sonia and just smirking. I love that.
Well, there was a ton of what I refer to as eye acting in this episode. There were a lot of spots where dialogue wasn't necessary.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Wentworth is very good at that because also their dialogue is extremely concise and to the point. They never have a word wasted, which is why it's so fun for fans like us to mine that everything because we know that because we know that every single thing is there for a reason. Like the book, for example, it all can give you little clues. So it's such a great
speaking
show.
of little clues, my question is, what is Rita going to do now that phone is gone?
Well, I personally also thought that it was a little out of character for Rita not to step up in some way, knowing that Allie is being punished for something that she did. Especially since Allie has been so helpful to her with Ruby. I thought
we don't know that Mari didn't tell her that there was nothing going to happen.
Oh, I guess that could be true. That she may have told her, we set it up, don't worry about it. That's true. What is she going to do now that the phone is gone? That's a good question. Well, where is the phone at this point?
Costa has it.
She can steal it back. But they know it's tainted.
Well,
there's no point.
Okay. Well, and that she went to all the trouble to get the SIM card in there. Surely to goodness they're going to get the phone back.
But Mari already suspects that they are listening to them on the phone, so she's not going to use it.
And no, she doesn't exactly know, I think, where they're finding out. She thinks that there's just someone who's lagging.
No, but remember
she knows it's the phone.
She did. She said that she and Zara were talking, and they said maybe they're listening in on our calls. And she said, but it's cost us. How does that make sense? But just to be safe, she said, well, I'm going to have one last use of it. And that's where everything happened. No, she's going to have to find another way. The phone is that. I think that path has been blocked.
And we also learned that Rita does have a side that's a lot more steely than she's shown before. She terrified Ruby.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
And Ruby backed down like a whoop pup.
Yeah.
Well, it's her big sister. No, I think that there's a history of that.
Probably.
But it's a different dynamic between them. Up until now, we've seen mostly Rita just, trying to do everything to appease her guilty conscience.
Right.
And then now all of a sudden we see a different dynamic. So it's interesting.
And we see her basically snarl.
If these characters didn't change, the show would go nowhere.
Well,
so
not only the characters, but the relationships.
The surprising turn of events is what makes Wentworth so great.
Well, also, as they get more comfortable with each other and they find their place in the prison, and this is such a fascinating. I'm so glad you chose episode 7 because it really was such a roller coaster. But since we do have to bring this to a close,
sure.
And that is strictly because apparently people don't have enough attention span to listen to more than 22 minutes.
No offense, people listening.
What is like the final thing that you would like to add about this episode, or anything else?
I have adored this season. This whole season, they got it all back on track, and it has made me so happy.
Yes,
and I mean, they never lost their craftsmanship. They've always given great performances, but the story is better.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, if the fruit just stays a figment of Will's imagination, it will still be brilliant. But if they bring her back, I think it will be a major
I don't think
mistake.
that's going to happen. I just don't. I think they're going to do everything in their power to lead us to believe it has happened.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like what... sorry, go ahead.
And then it's going to turn out it was all Jake.
Great.
Well, I like what you're saying because in this way, they still have a way of using Ferguson to haunt different people.
Right, and have Pamela Rabe on the canvas.
Yeah, but I mean, even with, I mean, yes, Will is of course seeing her in his eyes because he's haunted. But like you said, Vera doesn't even know, so she could believe that she was actually out there and coming for her. So in this kind of keeping it, unresolved, they can use it for a lot of good stories.
Absolutely.
So.
Liz could maybe see her.
Interesting.
Liz could maybe conjure her up at some point with her.
If she sees a very tall woman, like she did with Dawn and that bald guy. Anyway,
I think that story's going to stay on the officer side of the bars.
Oh, okay. We'll see.
Well, I know that you're really good at it, at figuring out what they're going to do, but I'm enjoying the surprises because we always say, Mimi and I, that most shows can't surprise us.
No, we
because
can figure everything
been there,
out.
done that, seen that
100 times.
But when there's a show like Wentworth that truly just constantly surprises you, it's a true treat. So
we stay as far away from spoilers as we can possibly manage.
Yeah, we enjoy the surprises.
Well, Rachel, this was great. We really love talking to you. And we love your insights.
I love talking to you too.
And thank you so much for, again, this was another way for you to support us, which you've been doing for many, well, I don't know if many, but quite a few
Several
years.
seasons, and we really, really appreciate everything.
Well, I love you too. You know that.
We love you.
And we love you too.
I love what you do.
Thank you, darling. And thank you always for your insights, too, as well as your wonderful support.
Yes, your emails
insights
are invaluable.
So much fun, and they're always right on the money.
And always very quotable.
Well, we'll see what sort of email I can come up with this week.
Okay.
I'm sure if you think about it for another day or two, all of a sudden you'll have all these other theories.
Yep.
All right, darling. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.